writing your financial story, doing your personal budget is a very powerful way to take control of your life, take control of your finances, lessen the anxiety, give you much more certainty about what's going on here, and give you hope and optimism for yours and your family's future. In this video, I'm going to outline the practical steps that you can go through to actually build your own financial story, create your own personal budget to give you that degree of confidence and control over what's happening in your household finances. Hi folks, welcome to another weekly episode of I Hate Numbers, the channel that's there with a primary mission of improving your financial awareness, increasing your money mindset, helping you and your business make more money, save tax and save time. What a wonderful thing that we've got there. In this video, I'm going to be talking about personal budgeting, but the principles that we take from this is what we're going to apply in a future video when we look at planning for your business. For most households that also where the individuals are running a business, there's an overlap and connection between the two. Without further ado, let's crack on with the video. Now, when we do a personal budget, do not think of that as a straitjacket. Do not think of that as something that constrains your way of life. It's a way to give you insight, a way to give you clarity, and to give you more control over a very uncertain landscape. So how do we start? The first thing I should do is don't even involve numbers or calculators at this stage. Think about where your money is going predominantly. Now, you can either just do a random list, and that's going to be quite difficult, or you can think in the idea of what I call groups. So if you visualize a situation with a supermarket has thousands of lines of products. So within the supermarket's groupings, we may have things such as dairy products, fresh fruit and vegetables, wines and spirits, household goods. If we look at each of those in turn, within sort of dairy products, we're going to have milk and cheese, and we're going to have different lines in there. Within the household goods, we can have different items of furnishings, lamps, bulbs, and the like. And within wines and spirits, you've got a variety of alcoholic beverages. Within that, from vodka, gin, you get the picture. Now, with your household finances, you're doing the same thing. So think about your household first of all, and within that as a category, just label it as a category, and later on you're going to be entering in there whether it's rent, council tax, household insurance, utility bill. We think of leisure activities, so whether your leisure activities are going out to the cinema, eating out, doing takeaways, write them down. Now at this stage, do not make any judgments about eliminating those. You're just really writing down the lifestyle that you have currently and the lifestyle that you and members of your family and your partner have set yourself out for the rest of the year. We're thinking about indulgences, perhaps a holiday that you've got in terms of some of your long-term goals. Write those down as well. Other things in terms of categorization, think about a group like transportation. Now, you may own a vehicle, so within that, you're going to write down things like car tax, car insurance, repairs, MOT, and the like. You get the picture. Now, when you make those groups, you've identified the items. Notice we've got no numbers there. We write those down. And as a heads up, folks, here, by all means, check out the show notes that are provided with the video, and you can see a table that I've provided that gives you an example of that listing. Having identified those groups, having identified that listing, you then need to get some numbers by that. And you may not necessarily know fully at your fingertips what those figures actually are. But that's fine. Grab those bank statements, whether they're digitally or printed off, get your credit card statements, and think about all the different ways you're paying for these items. We're going to deal with money coming in a few moments. And then what you want to do is to scour those bank statements, and by the side of each one, jot down what the amounts are. Now, this might be quite a painful experience if you're not used to looking at your bank statements, but hold your nerve, have a good strong cup of coffee, chamomile tea, or if you want something stronger, then make sure you do that at the end of the process. Now, as we write down the amounts of these items, we're also making a note, are these items occurring regularly? So are they paid once a month, as your rent or your mortgage might be? Or are these paid ad hoc? So perhaps water rates might be paid twice a year. Now, we've identified the items by groups, we've identified the specific items within those groups, we've quantified, we've written down perhaps the nearest pound or round it up to the nearest £5, what these items are in value, and we've made a comment about when they leave our bank account, our credit cards or whatever. And by talking about credit cards, remember, also include those more unpleasant things in life, like loans. So if you've got loans is your bucket, and under that you've got things like credit card loans, student loans. Now, don't forget to think about money coming in, and that will come from a variety of sources. If you've got a job, part-time or full-time, it's the take-home pay that we're interested in, not what the gross salary is. If you've got a business that sits beside you, then obviously include the monies that you're taking out of that business to support yourself, your lifestyle, and that of your family. If you've got benefits coming in from DWP, whether that's universal credit, working tax credit, whether it's carer's allowance, put them all in there. You may also receive ad hoc gifts from friends, family and relatives. So write them all down, and then once you've got all that, do it in stages, don't overwhelm yourself. Then you can assemble that to see what that picture looks like in terms of money that comes in on a monthly, annual basis, and what that represents in terms of money going out. So once you've assembled that list, folks, you can then put that into a spreadsheet, put that into a document, and actually see what the impact actually is. Once you've got that, then you can come back, revisit it, and you can challenge some of those costs. What we're focusing on in this video is the construction. We've built it, we've got those numbers here, and then it's the decision making. We may find there are costs that we weren't fully aware of. Do we need those in our life? Do they add value? Do they enhance it? If the answer is yes, then there's a good argument for keeping them. If they are no, and they've slipped through the radar, and they don't actually add any impact to our enjoyment of life or anything else, and they're not necessary, then by all means look at eliminating those out of the equation. If there are things that we can do to get better deals, but to actually challenge those numbers here, then we can make those decisions once we've got the full facts in front of us. Folks, I hope you found that useful. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, keep up to date with weekly updates here, but remember, don't be scared of your numbers. Make sure you connect with them. They're going to be really powerful, and they're going to help you conduct your life in a much more positive fashion. There's a link in the show notes, by the way, to my forthcoming book called I Hate Numbers, and I Don't Hate Numbers. I think they're beautiful things here, which gives us insight, gives us power, and gives us control. Until next week, have a fantastic budgeting week.